Yeah, good morning, students. Today we'll be talking about this modern symmetric key encryption. Now, digital data can be represented in strings of binary digits, unlike alphabets. Now, we basically have two different types of ciphers. One is the block cipher, and the other is the stream cipher. We'll first try to understand what is a block cipher. In a block cipher, the plain binary text is processed in blocks. What we do is we make a block of plain text bits and we perform the operations on it to generate a block of ciphertext bits. The number of bits in block size is fixed. For example, DS uses a block size of 64, whereas AES uses a block size of 128 bits. Next, we come to what is a stream cipher. In stream cipher, the plain text is processed one bit at a time. That is, one bit of the plain text is taken and a series of operations is performed on it, and we generate one bit of ciphertext. Technically, stream ciphers, they are block ciphers with a block size of one bit. Means in stream cipher, we do a processing of one bit at a time, whereas in the case of block cipher, we do the processing of more than one bits at a time. A block size can be either 64 bits or 128 bits. Now this diagram will make it more clear. Block cipher, can you see we have plain text block and plain text block to plain text. So on this we apply the encryption function key to produce ciphertext block n, ciphertext block 2, ciphertext block 1. Plain text 1 is going first. Plain text 1 is going first. So ciphertext block 1 is getting generated first. Similarly, plain text block 2 is getting second. Ciphertext block 2 is being generated secondly. And plain text block n at the last. So ciphertext block n at the last. Now next, see what is a stream cipher. In the stream cipher, what we have, like suppose we have a bit stream. Can you see binary digit, a stream of binary digits? Now there is a key generator. So what we do is when we apply plain text this as input, we apply the bit function and this we get as the ciphertext. So this is how a block cipher and a stream cipher functions. Now we'll see the block cipher. The basic scheme of a block cipher is depicted as follows. We have a block of plain text. We have the encryption key. The encryption process is applied on this block of plain text, and what we get is a block of ciphertext. Now block size. Now there is a general misconception key, how much must be the block size. Now for that the answer is we must avoid very small block sizes. If we have very small block sizes, then what happens if the attacker discovers the plain text blocks corresponding to some previously sent ciphertext blocks, then the attacker can launch a type of dictionary attack by building up a dictionary of plain text or ciphertext pairs sent using that encryption key. We must not have very large block size also, because it becomes inefficient to operate. And what we prefer is a block size of multiples of 8 bit. A preferred block size is a multiple of 8, as it is easy for implementation, as most computer processors can handle data in multiples of 8 bits. Now we'll talk of the various block cipher schemes. There are vast number of block cipher schemes that are in use, but what we'll be studying is DES. DES stands for the Digital Encryption Standard, then the triple DES, Advanced AES, IDEA, Twofish, Serpent. Now we'll talk about all these in our later classes when we come to each of them in detail. But before studying about this DS, we need to study what is a Feastel block cipher. Now, Feastel cipher, it is not a specific scheme of block cipher. It is a design model from which many different block ciphers are derived. It is And DES is just one example of a FISTO cipher. Now, what you'll ask me, what is DES? Now, DES is one of the encryption standards. The full form of DES is Data Encryption Standard. It is a cryptographic system based on FISO cipher structure, and it uses the same algorithm for both encryption and decryption. Now, we'll see how the encryption process first takes place. In the FIDO cipher structure, the encryption process consists of multiple rounds of processing of the plain text, each round consisting of a substitution step followed by a permutation step. Now, FISTO structure, as you can see here, we have a plain text block. Can you see a plain text block? We divide it into two halves, L and R, the left block and the right block. We have this left block and these are the round right block. What we do is we apply the round keys here. Can you see? We have a function key. We have the right part coming here, right? The function key, the right, and this, the encryption function is applied here, and whatever the left block is there, we perform the XOR of this plus the encryption process, encryption output of this key with the right block of the plain text. And then again what happens, whatever the output comes, this is again interchanged. Can you see? This is going to this part, again this is coming to this part. So the output of the left part is going to the right part and the right part is going to the second part. Again this becomes the left part. Again this R function, this is the key coming, and then we apply the round function here. The output of the round function is XORed with the left block and the output is again interchanged. The left one becomes the right and the right one goes to the left. Now this is repeated for 11 rounds and this becomes the cipher text. The input block to each round is divided, and I'll just repeat it once again. The input block to each round is divided into two halves. That can be denoted as L and R for the left half and the right half. Clear? In each round, the right half of the block R goes through unchanged, but the left half goes through an operation that depends on R and the encryption key. First, we apply an encrypting function F that takes two input, the key K and R, that is the right part. The function produces the output FRK. Then we XOR. Now, what is XOR? That is the exclusive OR of the output of the mathematical function with L. In real implementation of the FISTO cipher, such as DS, instead of using the whole encryption key during each round, a round-dependent key is derived from the encryption key. This means that each round uses a different key, although all these sub-keys are related to the original key. Now, the permutation step at the end of each round swaps the modified L and unmodified R. The unmodified R becomes the new L and the modified L becomes the new R. Therefore, the L for the next round would be R of the current round, and for R for the next round will be the output of L of the current round. Above substitutions and permutation steps form a round. The number of rounds are specified by the algorithm design. Once the last round is completed, then the two sub-blocks R and L are concatenated in order to form the ciphertext block. The difficult part of designing a FISTO cipher is selection of round function F in order to be unbreakable scheme. This function needs to have several important properties that are beyond. Next, we talk about the decryption process. The process of decryption in FISTO cipher is almost similar. Instead of starting with a block of plain text, the cipher text block is fed into the start of the FISTO structure, and then the process thereafter is exactly the same as described in the given illustration. The process is said to be almost similar and not exactly same. In the case of decryption, the only difference is that the subkeys used in encryption, they are used in the reverse order. The final swapping of L and R in last step of the Feastel cipher is essential. If these are not swapped, then the resulting cipher text could not be decrypted using the same algorithm. Now the question arises, how many number of rounds must this be done? The number of rounds, it depends upon algorithm to algorithm, and we can do a secure efficiency security trade-off about the number of rounds. So this is all for today, and this completes the Feastel cipher structure.